You're looking for a great conversation and you ended up tuning in right here to 3 Music TV. You have done amazing and you're welcome to another beautiful episode of Just Vibes with me, Nana Isofo Boris Humans, your able to host. Now, I'm always excited to come your way with amazing conversations. And today is going to be another great conversation. You know how, the conversations that pique your interest, certain things you're talking about at home already, certain things you're talking about in your offices, wherever you meet, is because there are those daring conversations that need to be had. And we're going to do that today as well. Of course, I wouldn't be doing this alone. But before that, I'd like to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Johnny Walker, who's always letting us know that we need to keep walking. Now, let me briefly introduce our guest and then we can go on a break starting from my immediate left. Kindly introduce yourself and then we can move on.
Hi, I'm Ernest.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer
Okay.
and an entertainment pundit.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Question. The Esquire, right? Is that part of the title?
it is.
It is. So
Yeah.
you pronounce like you mentioned, so Esquire Ernest, is that a thing or it's lawyer Ernest?
No, so usually you write out your full name
Mm-hmm.
and then you put out the comma
Mm-hmm.
and then the Esquire comes as a suffix.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now, I always wanted to find out because
Same.
people really be abusing this,
Yeah.
especially when, your friend who's a lawyer graduates and it's like, yeah, do you have an Esquire?
I have an ex.
Do you have one?
No.
You don't. Okay. Kindly introduce yourself as well.
Hi, guys. My name is Abakuma Datsun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know.
What else? Oh, yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you do?
Oh, I'm an actress. I don't know why I could. Yeah, I'm an actress and the programs manager for Power to Girls Foundation.
All right. So Power to Girls and some law in the house. It's going to be a very exciting conversation.
Yes,
You do
sir.
not want to tune away. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get into it. You're welcome back. This is still Just Vibes, and we're just beginning, so you're just in time to catch our great conversation. Now, today's topic, before we get into, Anonymous, is something that dates back to, the 90s, where people have had these conversations and they're still very relevant in our time in the 2025. It actually became quite popular in 2019 where a lot of people were talking about it, and I'm talking about prenups or prenuptials. Hopefully I got the pronunciation right. I have our lawyer let us know exactly how to pronounce it, but this particular conversation has dated back to a number of years. People feel like usually prenups are for celebrities, but is that true or not? Even though people feel that way, I think that's usually because of the people who usually sign prenups, and that would have to be an example will be Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Elon Musk, and a few other people. And so today we're going to break it down and find out what exactly it is about prenups, why people even want to get into it, and all of that. Now, in order to paint like a very vivid image for you, let's talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce, since they are your favorite couple in entertainment. And I'll be shocked if anyone didn't know Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Who?
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Who's that?
Come on.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm a Beyonce stan. I'll let you know.
Okay.
So,
So you're part of the Beehive.
hard one.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Awesome. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce's prenup reportedly includes unique clauses such as keeping their premarital assets separate and specifying that Beyonce would receive $5 million for each child they have. If they divorce before 2 years of marriage, Jay-Z would owe Beyonce $10 million. If they divorce after 2 years, Beyonce would receive $1 million for each year of marriage up to 15 years. For example, if they divorce in 2024, Beyonce could receive $14 million for 16 years of marriage plus $15 million for their 3 children, according to the prenup. All I heard was a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, it
Girl.
was just a lot of money.
5 million per kid. She should have more. I mean, sorry, go on. Ashley.
Okay. All right. What do you think about this very briefly before we move on to the anonymous?
It's dope.
It's dope.
Yeah. Like, what?
You
5 million per child. It's
Yeah.
just 3.
Yeah.
Wow. So I can do that. I'm taking notes.
I'm
Sorry.
also here to take notes.
Sorry to the man. because 5 million per child. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Okay. How about you?
So
What do you
what
think?
you realize is prenups are actually not for, the regular ones, the
Oh,
poor.
okay.
Hey.
I mean, not to hurt anyone's feelings,
Don't
but
worry, we're ahead.
you
We've done
should-
it. It's too late. It's too late.
you
What?
should have something to want to protect that
Mm.
in
My
essence.
future. Every child.
If
5
there's nothing
million.
in the future,
So you realize
what are you
that
protecting?
there was a mention of a lot
Yeah.
of dollars, millions, and of course, Jay-Z is a billionaire,
So is Beyonce. I told you I'm a stan. I'm not taking any.
but not the ordinary person who lives in Choco.
Who? Beyonce?
I'm talking about the ordinary person that lives in
Yeah,
Choco.
I thought you said Beyonce's and I was coming to.
Oh, no.
Please
Come
tell
to
me
fly
why
over the
my
couch.
mind just said Choco Beyonce.
Oh,
Why?
baby.
Why?
Choco Beyonce, we are sorry.
Why
Okay.
did that just come
If
to
there
my
is
mind?
a Choco Beyonce. So wait, so if I'm getting this straight,
Mhm.
it's usually for, because what I heard from what you read was like people with assets prior to the
Yes.
marriage.
Mhm.
So if you don't really have and you want to do debi, you cannot write prenup.
No, you can, but
Eh.
you see, as I was saying, you should have something or be anticipating of anticipating having something to want to protect that particular thing.
Mhm.
Yes. So I didn't want to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but
It's too late, but you go on.
forgive me. But
Mm.
you should want to protect
Your stuff.
your stuff that is being your asset.
Mm.
And then sometimes people also want to take care of their liabilities in the forms of debt.
Okay.
So we'll get into all that later on.
Okay. So I'd like us to move to our anonymous,
Okay.
but for us to better understand it, very briefly, what is a prenup?
Okay. So a prenup is an agreement. An agreement could be also called a contract
Mm.
between two people before marriage. And they spell out terms
Yeah.
of how to support or provide for each other in the event the marriage should end.
Oh.
So if you were listening to
Mhm.
AC's narration
Mhm.
of Beyonce's and Jay-Z's prenuptial agreement terms, you realize that should
The
there be a divorce,
Yeah.
there's a specific amount allocated to be given to Beyonce, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just to also bring clarity as to what will happen just in the situation or event that the marriage ends.
All right. Okay. And so we're getting to anonymous. Since you guys don't know what it is, let me explain now. This is when we put out a question and people are allowed to, well, they feel free because their identities are not attached to the answers they give. It's like telling you to speak your mind to someone you don't like, but don't write your name there.
Mm.
You free your mind, right?
Mm.
Right?
Rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these people have freed their mind and we're going to read it. So our question for today is, your well-established lover comes to you with a prenup agreement. Are you taking offense? Your well-established lover comes to you with a prenup agreement. Are you taking offense. I'll ask you individually if you're taking offense or not. But this first person says, no, I wouldn't take offense. You liar. Oh, that one's the part. I see a prenup as a way for us both to protect our individual assets and interests in case things don't work out. It's not about distrust, it's about being practical and planning for the future. Okay, we hear you. This person also says, honestly, yes, I'll be hurt. That's what I'm looking for. It would feel like he's preparing. Why is it he? A woman. It's a woman that is looking for money. You both used to amaze me. Okay.
I mean,
it would feel like he's preparing for the worst before we even start our life together. It might make me question whether he truly believes in the long-term commitment of our relationship. So this person is saying that it will give her trust issues. Yeah. This person also says, I would be offended at first. A prenup seems like he's doubting our relationship and our ability to work through things together. If he truly trusts me, he shouldn't feel the need to protect himself financially. Yeah. If he truly trusts. Is it sensible to truly trust someone with all your money?
How well? I don't know how to answer that question, but would you?
I feel like are you done? Sorry, go on.
Oh no.
I feel like if you equally have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
it will not be a problem because at the end of the day, you also want to protect your stuff.
Mm.
I feel like all of the answers, like he doesn't love me, he doesn't try, wouldn't be into because if you honestly have like businesses, property, and your business is thriving, and you're looking to grow your business and have property, you equally want to know that should something happen,
Mm-hmm.
you're like safe. There's a host called Shirley. She has like a show.
Shirley Ralph. Is that?
No, not Ralph. Cheryl, like it's the Sherry Show.
Oh, I know
She's
that show.
still paying her 2 ex-husbands till today.
Jesus.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if you have money and he has money, it will be a no-brainer to want to protect each other's property
Yeah.
individually. And then like because you love each other, like you can still grow and like have stuff, but you know that at the back. Plus, let's be real, human beings are human beings. Somebody will break your heart. Like anything can happen in the future. You're looking at it as he doesn't love you and what. But you can easily also be
fall out of love.
And what is he? How is he gonna? How do you now look like when he brings up the prenuptial agreement and you are thinking about, so you don't trust me with your money? Now you kind of sound like you are in for just the money too. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like if you have your own money, it won't really be too much of a. I feel like the issue would come in when like the clauses come in and then it's like he's trying to do too much. That's when I'll be like, yo, back up.
Watch yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me continue. This one says, I wouldn't be offended. A prenup is a legal document that can protect both of us in case of an unexpected outcome like divorce. It's a smart financial move and could ensure that both our assets are secure, especially if either of us has significant wealth or business interests. This is literally like
I actually agree with this particular one. And you realize that sometimes we only view prenuptial agreements as one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
The party with the most to lose and then assets. But then you realize that sometimes, the rich, they also carry debts and then they can actually fall out of grace and become that poor, but might not show immediately. So you would also want to ensure that in some of the terms that eventually you should negotiate, you sort of protect yourself so that his debt doesn't become that of the marriage, and then you would also have to share with that burden.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yes.
Right? Share debt?
Yes.
I literally I'm like,
because just consider this. Let's say we take a mortgage on a property. We are supposed to be paying together. There could be terms where we negotiate on the eventuality of divorce, who should continue paying, and then at which, because at the end of the day, it is for both. It is both parties that are obligated to pay off that debt. So if you don't see it off, and maybe, for instance, uh, he's nowhere to be found at the end. You'll be left alone to paying off the debt, and God may actually show you some grace and eventually become very rich. Just imagine having to pay off that
But
debt
this makes
yourself.
so much sense where you hear people say that like maybe their wife left and has left them with debt. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how did your wife leave
Yeah.
you with debt
It's actually
when
a
you
thing.
didn't?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's crazy. Because I feel like it makes sense. If you're going to share the
money, you should be able to share
Share
that
the-
too.
It's actually rights and liabilities.
Crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not just assets.
No.
See,
Oh.
So
see
you
where
actually
it's good to
plan
have
for
Yeah.
every eventuality,
Wow.
because everything and anything can happen.
Wow. Okay. This one
Are you
also says,
shocked?
I am shook.
You're shook?
I'm shook. This one says, I wouldn't take offense, but I'd want to understand the reasoning behind it. A prenup could be a sign of maturity, ensuring that we both have a clear understanding of our finances and assets before entering into a legally binding commitment. Hey, people try this time. Like, I don't see a lot of savage comments in here. And so, yeah, you have made me proud today. You didn't disgrace me. I'm proud of you. And
Thank
finally,
you.
this one says, I would feel like they're more focused on, oh, you two. I said, yeah, I'm proud of you. Then
You spoke too soon, eh?
Oh. I
You don't
would,
praise human beings.
Why would it say?
I would feel like they are more focused on protecting themselves than building a partnership with me. It's not about the money. It's about the idea that they might be preparing for an exit before even giving the relationship
Sounds like a she.
a chance. I
Okay,
don't know what you're
I'm a
talking
she,
about.
okay? Okay, be calming down.
There's no he here or she.
Oh, I'm
here.
only saying she. It sounds like
So-
she. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it at that. But I can tell you that this conversation is going to get really, really interesting because I have a lot of questions to ask and I have a lot of things to say. But to marinate the conversation, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get into the topic. You're welcome back. It's still Just Vibes, and we're just about getting into the conversation. Now, like I read out the responses for the anonymous, I also want to know your take on it. If your partner who has a lot of money, it may be debt, right?
Mhm.
At this point, include that, right? Comes to you with a prenup agreement, are you taking offense? About
I got money too, so let's go.
energy.
If we're going to right now we're imagining, right? So I'm imagining that I also have my money. So bring it and let's sign it. Because there's no way I'm going to like not have money too and be
Right.
upset. Do you get what I mean?
Mhm.
So I feel like, let's be real, right? We don't like to have the uncomfortable conversations. I feel like everybody that is not really is on the opposite side is because it's an uncomfortable situation. In a relationship, in marriage and stuff, you have to talk about money. It's a big part. It's not every day, you know. Talk about like what's real, because you are gonna make money. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna pay school fees. You're starting businesses. I know it's uncomfortable. Trust me, I'm the queen of not wanting to have the uncomfortable situation, but it's a conversation that has to be had. And I feel like it all boils down to how strong of a relationship you have. It might be spicy and like dicey to talk about it, but if you guys have good communication skills, you should be able to come to like an understanding that, baby, I love you. That is why I want to marry you. This is not because I'm not asking this because I don't love you. I'm asking this because human beings is possible that like we can what's the word?
Change.
Yeah, you can things can happen. Like whoever you are now in your 5-year relationship, you're not going to be the same person in 10 years when you guys are married with 2 kids. You get what I'm saying? So just have that uncomfortable conversation and then like get it over and done with.
What if the person responds with, "But babe, I thought you loved me, and like we're
Grow
in this
up.
together."
Grow up.
So if the person,
I feel like,
the person
bro,
should grow up.
if you have reached the age where you're talking about prenuptial stuff, you are a matured human being. Don't be a baby. Get up. grow up. Like, we have to talk about it, because what if the roles were reversed? What if you had a sustaining career, you had like like money, or you were on like the upper hand, and he didn't really have, and you would want to protect your stuff.
True.
Yeah, so I feel like let's just be real and grow up. And it's an uncomfortable situation, yes, but once you're able to have that, and I feel like in a relationship, if like you are starting a relationship and you're thinking about marriage, and you can't even come to an agreement on something this important, maybe you're not ready to get married, because there's way more uncomfortable situations that are going to rise. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you should be able to have this conversation and come to like a clear understanding and a clear agreement. And then if you can do this, then you know that you can get married, Charlie. Because at the end of the day, it's the two of you against whatever the situation. It's you, the two of you against the prenup or whatever you are feeling about. It's not the prenup against. And I'm Mr. Lawyer. Am I lying? Sure, are you feeling me? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I feel having this conversation should, start off with an understanding of the orientation of the person, how the person himself or herself was sort of brought up. Having a prenuptial agreement conversation with a child of a broken home or a child of a divorce would be different from having such a conversation with
somebody
a
that
child
had like a super family.
that had
that
stable family growing up. So that person would not understand when you say anything can happen, because that anything can happen, he or she never saw that.
No.
So you need to bring such a person to that understanding.
Yeah.
It is actually more easier when you're having such a conversations with, people that have the background of, broken homes or divorces, because they tend to understand and appreciate the essence a bit more. At the end of the day, it's just about protecting each other.
Yeah.
Because right now we've learned that it's just not for the benefits, but for the liabilities as well. Yes.
So what would you do? Because usually you go like, they go like, doctors don't take their own advice. So do lawyers take their own advice?
Good question.
Well, I'm not a big believer in prenuptial agreements. Yeah. Yes, I'm a lawyer and I'm supposed to.
That's the last
but
thing I
I'm not a big believer of prenuptial agreements. Maybe, as I was saying, it's part of the orientation. I'm also from like a more stable family system upbringing where my mom and dad are still together. So I tend to appreciate the fact that, despite anything can happen, but
you're a lawyer.
No, I
as
know.
Much as that's
Do you
how
know
you've
the
also
number of
seen.
divorce cases I do?
Exactly, bro.
But then someone has to still keep the faith,
of love.
Of course.
Are you a hopeless romantic? You're giving that. Yeah. But say I'm with you forever, baby.
But it's definitely a conversation, I would have with the person.
I have a question. How would you address if maybe a client came to you and he wanted to sign a prenuptial agreement? Let me even make it say, maybe it's the woman. She has more, right? And then she wants to sign this, but then the man isn't really like everything you've just said. Like he has like a solid foundation. Like it's not. How would you advise that she went about talking to him for him to understand?
Okay, you know what? We'll get into like the conversation.
I just want him, the bullet.
Yes. I want him to finish so that we get into the actual topic. And so kindly finish for us and then we can move on.
So just to continue, someone has to keep the faith of love.
I get that.
But I won't love foolishly. But that doesn't mean I'm also, going to make things a bit weird. Because honestly, whether we like it or not, bringing up such a conversation is yes. Because sometimes, especially when you sit in divorce matters and then you listen to parties go on and on about their problems, you tend to appreciate relationship a bit more, because people that's married could, as quickly as 8 months, or a year
Oh, wow.
come before you seeking a way out.
Are you saying wow? Didn't Kim Kardashian do 72 hours? 8 months is cool.
You know,
They've
we
tried.
don't, those people, we don't add them.
Why?
Why don't you
No,
add them?
let me say,
Are they not
because
human beings?
no, because there's something called showbiz. When you work in show business,
Okay.
you understand that there's certain things that are really for talkability.
Okay.
And these people have signed up to use their lives to make people talk about them to generate wealth for themselves. They
True
don't
that.
mind. They've sacrificed everything they stand for.
In the name of
Integrity
But
is
they have
out the
feelings.
door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
What?
They have feelings.
they do.
Oh, they do.
And they
They
hurt.
don't mind going through these things
Okay.
for, you know, it's like what's this lady's name? The last one, the one before Kendall, Kylie.
Mm.
There's so many things that, like, she knows they'll talk about her body, but she'll go ahead and make certain statements only for people to come at her. She knows she'll
I
feel
mean, to
hurt.
be fair,
and
the
how,
whole family though.
yeah, how they'll react to it will also
Well.
give a reaction. And so, me, I think they're really thriving in it as a business. They are making money, really. They're
Yeah, but
making
8 months
crazy
is
money.
sad.
8 months is really sad.
It's sad, yes.
It makes sense. I have a friend who's a lawyer who she just goes like, we're driving by one time. She's a lawyer and an actor as well. So we're driving by on set and we're driving by this big wedding. She's like, oh, these people. And she works not far. But she's like, oh, these people will open my office soon. I'm like,
Oh,
baby girl,
Oh,
don't
yes.
do
you can.
that.
Are you able to tell?
And usually it's
I know, I
it's
think
those
I think
that-
it's the
just-
people that start out big.
Ah.
Big weddings.
it's
You
like,
know,
what are you trying to prove?
I mean, at the end of the day, they date for a few months, not really knowing themselves. It's just about, okay, I feel good. This is a very nice person. Maybe the lady's already in her 30s. Oh, I mean, come on, let's do this.
Mm.
They do that without realizing that at the end of the day, marriage is you going to be with this person
For the rest of your
24/7.
life.
You go have a day and then you come back.
And you're upset at the
You are
person.
upset about
But I feel like we've gotten to a stage where, from what I see, I feel like people aren't holding or taking marriage as what it used to be. I
Yeah.
feel like now it's more of like contracts.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you have money. Oh, she's pretty. Okay, we can.
So you
get
see why I
married.
have to keep
Yeah.
up faith.
Me and you. Give me 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm on the fence.
You want to play devil's advocate a little bit?
Like, I'm on the fence really
Why?
because sometimes you would want to be in a position to, you know, anticipate the rubbish, right? Sometimes too, like he said, you need to keep the faith. And so having a good balance of both would be more ideal for me because then again, like you said, people can up and change. I said on one of our previous episodes that you can be married to a person and experience 3 versions of them. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And so, is the person you're going to be experiencing, right? Would you have that tolerance level to go through it? I look at my parents every day. I'm like, I am so proud of them because my mother, I've seen different versions of my mom. I've seen different versions of my dad, but they're still together.
It's
and
because,
it's nice to see.
because I think it's a choice.
exactly.
I feel like once you get married, I feel
But-
like love and the whole thing is a choice. If you
but
think
Abba,
that
think about
the
choices.
marriage is I love you, then you are going, I'm lying. You
No,
are lying.
But Abba, think about choices. Someone can wake up and choose not to want to love a person anymore.
That's what I'm saying. It's a
Yeah.
choice. So like I was saying this because you're saying like your parents and stuff, like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
parents. To have a marriage that has lasted 50 years or like even 2 years safe is because they wake up in the morning and they choose that today you've pissed me off or tomorrow you gained
But I
a lot
love
of
you
weight, but I
regardless.
love you regardless. I feel
Oh,
like that's
God,
what it is.
stop
Hey, baby boy, give 5 again, man. We're keeping the love alive. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into the main topic, right? We're talking prenups. Now, should prenups be a consideration in relationships? If you're going to be doing that transition from relationship to marriage, is this something that you should, consider? Now, lawyer, tell us, is it a good idea for people, especially people who are well established and have money in this age, because we're looking at now, to have prenups, and what are some like the benefits of prenups?
Okay, so I would address your question a bit differently, but I
Okay.
hope I answer it.
Okay.
Yes, you need a prenuptial agreement if you have something to protect, as I've said earlier.
If you have something to protect.
Yes.
Emphasis.
And then the Ghanaian laws provide certain rights that every individual enjoys. That is the right to have and enjoy property.
Okay.
You understand? So, in as much as sometimes in marriages during divorce or maybe at the demise of one of the spouses, um, one of the properties is used to settle or is granted to the other party. Um, it has to take the formal legal process
Mm.
before that is eventually determined. But if you are to have a prenuptial agreement where all such terms have been stated expressly and clearly, it has been well drafted,
Mm.
then you just go to the courts for them to enforce what has been written
Oh,
without
okay.
the need for um, evidence to be taken, extra evidence. I said this. No, I didn't say this. You owe this. No, there was contribution. Because if there is a way for the wife or the husband to prove contribution,
Mm.
that is a whole different game. The person will be
Right.
entitled to a share if you look
Wow.
at what the laws provide.
Okay.
But then if you have it for yourself, it is something you purchased for yourself. The laws give you that mandate to hold that property as an individual.
Okay. Okay.
So even though those laws are there,
Mhm.
enforcing it becomes a bit problematic when we need to prove at the courts.
Mm.
Yes. So I would advise to put things as much clearly as possible. The prenuptial agreement set the terms clearly, and every party knows what will happen in such an eventuality of divorce or the death of one of the spouses.
Right. Now I also want to find out if you're married, like end up getting married, and then one person gets married and all of a sudden wants to sign the prenup. Is that possible?
Well, usually prenups are signed
Before,
before
yeah.
marriage, but then an agreement nonetheless could be reached between the
But
parties.
it wouldn't be called a prenup.
It would just be an agreement
Okay. Okay.
just to set the terms of an eventuality. Just that in such a situation, it will be very difficult to identify properties which are individually owned and which ones are, held jointly by the parties, because it can even breed disputes.
Mm.
Because how's it that you now became rich
And then
and
all
then
of a
you are
sudden,
saying, okay, this is mine, I want to protect this.
yeah.
This is mine, I want to protect this. It, the other party may choose not to sign,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
whether he or she signs would still be entitled to the property during divorce.
Oh,
So it is better to do it before and know
done.
that, okay, then I want to enter, than when you're inside and you're like, okay, let me now sign it.
Okay.
Because if the other party chooses not to sign, he will still be entitled to
Mm.
a fair share of the property.
Right. But I want to find out from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at like us now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Girls and boys having a great time growing
Mm-hmm.
up, people getting married. Do you think it's a good idea, for people to get a prenup, especially when you have some assets to protect?
I feel like yeah. Um, I feel like yes. I feel like we should talk about it. I feel like you should talk about it and then just do it. Because at the end of the day, if you really love the person and you know you're going to fight with the, like you're gonna get married, then this is you're never really going to have to get to that point. But just it's like you have to be prepared at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is a way to like stay prepared, I feel like yes. Just do it to stay prepared. But also I feel like last it depends on like the couple. I feel like it depends on the couple. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there are some couples that sometimes you'll never see it coming at all. But I wanted to ask, okay, how does one determine at like so maybe I have like my Mercedes Benz and then we are getting married and maybe my boyfriend drives a Corolla. That's my property.
Can you
Does that
sign
work?
a
Prenup?
prenup?
Like I want to know from where does it start to like from where do you gauge like okay you have this amount of like
Yeah,
from where does it start from?
that
What if he uses a Samsung and I have an iPhone 16?
will
Like
we
do
sign
you
a
get what I'm
prenup?
trying? Yeah, do you get my question?
What
Yeah, I get your
property
question.
is
Like how does it
worth
start? Yeah, worth signing the
prenups?
prenups. Yeah.
As soon as or as early as you start discussing marriage. Because prenups are in contemplation of marriage, not just you two being a couple dating boyfriend and a girlfriend. But my advice would be it has to be in contemplation of marriage.
So is
Because
it like one house or one apartment? Does it start from like maybe one house, one
oh
apartment?
no, it
or-
doesn't. It doesn't.
That's what I'm trying to
Like we
get.
want to
At the end of the
find
day-
What
out.
quantifies
Yes.
like yeah.
So I started off by saying you should have something that you want to protect. I can have just my phone,
So I
Mhm.
and I
can-
want to
oh.
protect it.
Is it-
Okay.
so it's
So
a thing.
I can.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be much, but
Okay.
usually, it sounds a bit absurd when you want to protect your shoes
Let me put you on the
or your
spot.
bag collections.
How much does it cost?
Yes, sir.
How much does it cost to get a lawyer to draft a prenup for you?
Oh, it depends. Every lawyer has his own charges. And I mean, if you look at the GBA scale of fees, there are junior lawyers, there's counsel, and then there are senior counsel.
Okay.
It ranges. There are some that charge per the hour, and there are some that charge a flat fee.
For your iPhone.
Yeah.
There's no way. That's why they say if you
So
have
sometimes-
something.
so sometimes-
iPhone's
Because
on the
no,
back.
because the thing there, if you don't take care of your the fee for the lawyer and the car is probably the same.
They see.
So
You have bought car again.
I know some lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
not me though, but I know some lawyers that would charge.
Oba.
Oh, yes, that
Oba.
is not me. There are some lawyers that would charge 2,000 cedis
Mhm.
an hour.
That's why he's saying it's not him. No, it's really not him.
It's not me.
It's
And then-
yeah, that's why
and
he's telling that hey, don't even try and bring
Don't
that
bring
to
that
the
to
house.
the
That's why he said there's
I
junior
don't know what they are
lawyers, there's
talking about.
counsel.
I don't know what they are talking about. And then there are some that would charge, as high as 5,000 cedis an hour because they are senior counsel. They've been practicing for a while.
Mhm.
There are people that charge in dollars, especially when you're dealing with foreign clients, because there can be a foreigner who is married to a Ghanaian and would want to have a prenup of some properties
Mhm.
that are in Ghana and then even abroad because it is enforceable everywhere because it's an agreement. Yes.
No, I'm thinking, what do you think would be the best way to go about this conversation?
Yeah, you did.
Like, hi babe,
Like, at which point do you even bring it up? In the morning, before breakfast,
in the afternoon,
evening,
at
like,
night,
do
when
you text her in the
it's
middle?
supposed
At
to
which
be
point does it?
cozy and
Because
cuddly?
imagine if you set up a cute dinner with roses and champagne, and I think that, oh my god,
You see,
you
only
want to
for the
talk about a
conversation to be a
prenup?
prenup,
No.
I'd be so mad.
so you need to find a perfect timing, and this is my suggestion though. So- Something should bring about the conversation. For instance, a post you saw on IG or
Share me.
news that is trending. Or for instance, someone is currently watching the show
Mhm.
and you're watching it with babe. You can just ask babe, what do you think about
Guys,
prenuptial agreement?
If they
Because
lawyer said
the
it's the
judge-
time
for
for
you,
you. We've
you
given
not
you the chance.
because this is the very opportune time for you to have the
True though.
conversation and then pick his thoughts on what he thinks about it. It can just be as simple as, babe, what do you think about prenuptial
Yeah.
agreements? And the response should advise as to whether you should proceed
I like the word.
or you should
advice.
just
Yeah,
leave,
or just leave it because.
just leave it and then also advise yourself
Or run
because
away.
exactly.
So can I? So what if you've tried all the styles and the person is not understand? Does it mean that it's a red flag for marriage?
You need to set values for yourself. What works for you?
Yeah, and what
You
doesn't?
you shouldn't. Yesterday I was watching Blacklist.
Oh, blacklist.
Yes, and then
Reddington.
there was this phrase Reddington said that it stuck with me. Don't dim your light for someone's light.
Kaish. Drop it.
At the end of the day, you're an individual. You're a human being. You're a person.
Yeah.
You have your own values. I mean, find someone that will compliment you and not take a lot of you away from you.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Find someone who
Quotables,
compliments you
and
not
take
take
you away.
away from you. On that note, we're going on a quick commercial break.
Period,
Keep it
boo.
solid. We'll be back. You're welcome back. This is Just Vibes, your number one Gen Z podcast show on 3 Music TV. We've been discussing prenups, the ins and outs of it. You know, we found out today that in signing a prenup, you can inherit someone's debt. So don't just get up and want to sign one. You get what I'm trying to say. But I'm also, before we move on to our top viber of the week, I'd like to find out in Ghana, right? Are there different laws in different places with regards to prenups, or is the same thing everywhere in Ghana?
So Ghana is not like US,
Mm-hmm.
where every state
Yeah,
has
different.
is a distinct jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana, we are a unitary state,
Yeah.
and with one system of um, law, or the legal system is just one. So the principles of contract still applies. We all are under one constitution.
Mm.
When it comes to divorce matters, every divorce everywhere, whether in Tamale, in Kumasi,
It's
Sunyani,
the
or
same
Accra,
thing.
is adjudicated over in accordance with the Matrimonial Causes Act.
Ah,
So
matrimonial
Causes
causes act.
Act. So
Okay.
that's the main law that
Sorry, can you say it again? But like for me, like the everyday Ghanaian.
Matrimonial Causes Act.
No, like you've used a lot of
Adjudicated and
you used a lot
Okay.
of
So when we go to court
Mm-hmm.
and we need to decide, we go for a divorce between two parties, and we are before the judge. The main law that we are looking at, the various provisions or what is in the law as to how we should um, bring that marriage to an end. The law, or that particular law that provides for all these extensive procedures, rights and liabilities, is the Matrimonial Causes
Okay,
Act.
got it.
okay, got it.
So in the Matrimonial Causes Act, you'd understand that before you can go to court and the court will grant you divorce, the marriage should have been broken down beyond reconciliation. And there are about
Mm.
6 grounds you need to prove to the court.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, let
that
us
the
know.
adultery,
Okay.
unreasonable behavior,
Mm.
desertion, or the parties have not lived as husband and wife for 2 years with consent of either party, or
Okay.
have not lived as husband and wife without consent for over 5 years. And then all attempt at reconciliation has proven futile.
Okay.
So these sort of set the tone for how you could premise your, or you could sort of come formally to the court that, okay, so I have this husband, after the marriage left me for Italy.
Mm.
I've not seen or heard from him in about 5 years. Now, that's desertion.
Mm.
Or I live with this husband, or I live with a wife who constantly insults me, walks about
Defaming you.
defaming me, comes to my office, creates drama, hits me, or there's this husband that actually beats me up. There's actual violence. That would be unreasonable behavior. Or
Mhm.
adultery. Um, he sleeps around with other people who are not in a marriage. So I said not in a marriage because there can
Some
be
people
customary marriage where a person can be married to two,
two,
three,
three.
four, five, and that wouldn't amount to adultery so far as he is married to all these people.
Okay.
So yes,
I was gonna find out in these situations, how do you determine who pays who when
Good question.
the divorce comes up? Because in signing the prenup, let's say what things will be put in place to determine, who's going to get paid at the end of the marriage if it happens.
so it has to be negotiated because at the end of the day, Ghana, we don't have a specific law that provides extensively for prenuptial agreements.
Okay.
We just look at other laws and then we make inferences so far as it is a contract and it is enforceable. Like
Okay.
we can go to court and ask the court to look at what the provisions are and then enforce it.
Mm.
So once both parties decide to enter into a prenuptial agreement, you need to discuss, okay, so what do you want in the agreement? I'll also let you know what I want in the agreement. It is advisable that each party represented by counsel, and you both just don't appoint one counsel who will just be working for both. Aside it being unethical for that lawyer, it could create an issue of conflict of interest because definitely he'll be sided to one of the parties and may not be looking out for the interest of the other. So independently, you should seek out counsel for yourselves who would represent and look out for your best interest and then rights. Make sure whatever provisions are going into the prenuptial agreement would benefit you. Basically, at the end of the day, who would pay who or who would receive what has to be agreed and then put in the prenuptial agreement.
Wow. But you know what made me ask the question? When you said there's someone that's still paying two of her ex-husbands.
She says it every time on her show.
And I found out that Halle Berry is also
it's a thing.
Her husband.
Is there, sorry, I had a question. Is there like a term for, because like, what if we get married? We didn't really have, right? We get married. I'm proving to like, or one party is proving to like do well for themselves, like their career takes off. The other party is a bit reluctant. Or maybe they've seen that, oh, my partner's career is taking off. So then they've decided to become like lazy. And then now I start to acquire a lot of property and stuff. Is because we were married when my career took off, now we have to share it. Or I can still, because if you're a lazy sleeping and I've bought my G-Wagon, Wagwan.
Okay, so
I
first
keep using cars like
Mercedes to G-Wagon. We see it, girl.
God, manifestation. Oh God.
Okay, so just a bit about the question again.
So I want to know is there like how am I going to be protected if two parties get married and then one party's career starts to take off, so then she starts to, he or she starts to like get their assets and whatever.
I think I addressed this question earlier.
No, you started and then you guys went on.
Okay, so let me go back, answer the question and then add certain things.
Okay.
So yes, prenuptial agreements are best done before marriage. But just in a situation where during the marriage, the situation as you're describing happened, you can always now try and negotiate. Just that at the end of the day, that other party who is, not pulling his weight or her weight would then be relaxed because she has a lot of bargaining power.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if she chooses not to sign, she will still be entitled.
Say he every day is the she. Why is the she not the one making the money, girl?
You know what?
Is
to answer that, I'm coming.
Is there a term for that?
You know what's going to make this not fair?
Why?
Well, maybe I have to move on to the top viber of the week.
Okay,
now, the top viber, right, is this millionaire who went to his wife and told her that I want a prenup. Like, he's talking to his better half, his girl, I want a prenup. Unfortunately, yeah. And so, in, wanting the prenup, he goes up to her and says, you know what, this is what I want. And she decides to cry, but you know what? Don't take it from me. Have a look.
But my question is, why do we really need one?
I've had a pretty large company even before I met you. So if we get married and then you decide to divorce me next year, then you leave with half of it, that's not fair.
But why are you already thinking about that?
Babe, it's something that I have to think about. I don't know why Danny's so surprised. The prenup's obviously something that we need to have in place. I built a business long before she even came into the picture, and I have to protect that. Like, you want to get married? I'm, trying to work with you.
I don't want to be emotional. I'm just not sure if you're doing this because you don't trust me or, you're not sure about our future.
Well, I think you're overthinking it.
I don't know how to explain this to you. I feel like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I am understanding. It's not my intentions to leave you. I hope that's not your intentions.
It's not. I didn't even think about that. You're the one thinking about that.
It's just the reality of what makes sense,
Yeah, but this is really this is not how I pictured it was gonna start.
There's no reason to cry.
I need 1 second.
babe.
And there you have it. You know, she feels like she's not loved. Like you saw, she's
Mhm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so you see, that's what we
Mhm.
spoke about earlier.
Mhm.
That, you know, some people will feel like you don't love me, and so that's why you want to protect yourself from something that hasn't happened
Yeah.
or might not even happen. You get what I'm trying to say? But you want to have the conversation. So you tell me, if you were in this situation, how would you feel? Would you react like that? Do you think she overreacted? Quite briefly.
Maybe I will. Cause like, what you mean? No, but I feel
Pick
like
a side, Abba. Pick
no.
a side.
I'm always gonna play that. I feel like what I said earlier. He said he's had this business long before you.
Yeah.
It might also be a test to show prove that you love me. Why do you care so much? If you really just love me, then sign it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because he had the money before. Why? Like he's not saying sign the prenup and I'll not marry you. I'm still going. Everything is happening the way it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because, like he said, if I remember, he said he's had the business long before she came.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that it's something that he has to do. But I feel like it's also a situation where if you're not there, like
You won't
you
understand.
won't
it.
understand. He has a business. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just started a business.
But do you know how she's feeling? She's feeling as though, so are you actually trying to tell me that I'm coming in because of your money? And if so, are you actually thinking about us ending?
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually love you that much and I don't see us ending. So why are we talking about?
I like the love language in the house.
Yeah, but okay. So if
how is it that we
so
are?
then if you love me and it's not the money and I'm telling you that I'm not, so then sign it.
No, so if I sign
well.
it, then it's as though you actually don't trust that we can actually go the long
I feel
haul.
like that's the part. I feel like that's the little bit. I feel like what we haven't said is I think she feels like he doesn't trust it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel
think
like that's
what
where
it
the
is.
And that
thing
is
yeah,
legitimate.
It's the trust.
But at the end of the day, this conversation has to be had
Mm-hmm.
in a proper context and properly.
Okay, so I think that's what we're going to take away from it. If you're going to have a conversation
Don't
with
cry.
your significant other about a prenup, make sure that they don't feel ambushed. Make sure that it's in a
Healthy.
there might not be a perfect situation, but it's in a great spot where you can have a conversation about it, because regardless of the situation, it's going to be uncomfortable. But thank you so much for coming
Oh yeah,
through.
we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Oh,
Oh, so soon.
I know.
won't go. I won't go.
Thank you so much for coming through and
Thank you
having
for
this
having
convo
us.
with me. I know
Most
that this
welcome.
particular topic has been trending for a while. I'm sure a lot of you discuss it at home, and so it's great. It was important for us to also discuss it right here on Just Vibes. You know that we're sponsored by Johnny Walker, who's always telling us to keep walking. Keep walking. If you need to walk into a prenup, walk into the prenup with your full chest, okay? My name is Asofo, and this has been another beautiful episode. Definitely do well to check us out on YouTube. You can tune in to 3 Music TV to watch Just Vibes on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and also the repeat on Sundays at 10 p.m. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next episode. Until then, adios. Bye.